This happened in February 2024. I was driving back to Denver from a work conference in Cheyenne when the weather just completely turned. I'd been checking my weather app all day, and yeah, it said snow was coming, but not until like 8 p.m. It was only 4:30, except the storm didn't wait. I was on Highway 85 about halfway home when it started coming down hard. Like, couldn't see 20 feet ahead hard. My car has all-wheel drive, so I figured I'd just slow down and be fine. I wasn't fine. Within 20 minutes, the road was completely covered. I passed 2 cars in the ditch. My phone lost service, and the highway was basically empty. I hadn't seen another car in either direction for at least 15 minutes. That's when my car started sliding. Not like losing control, but that feeling where your tires aren't really gripping anymore. I was going maybe 30 miles an hour, and it still felt too fast. I saw a sign for a rest area, 1 mile. I decided to pull off and wait it out for a bit, see if the plows came through. Better than ending up in a ditch. The rest area was small, just a bathroom building and a few parking spots. There was one other car there, a red Subaru, completely covered in snow. Looked like it had been there a while. I parked, kept my engine running for heat, and checked my phone. No service. I had about half a tank of gas, which would last me a few hours if I needed to keep the heat on. I sat there for maybe 20 minutes, watching the snow pile up on my windshield, when someone knocked on my window. I jumped, like actually jumped. There was a guy standing outside my car, probably late 30s, wearing a heavy coat and a knit hat. He pointed toward the bathroom building, then at my car, making some kind of gesture I didn't understand. I cracked my window about 2 inches. Immediately, freezing air and snow came pouring in. "You're gonna die if you stay out here," he yelled over the wind. "Carbon monoxide! The snow's gonna block your exhaust!" Shit. I hadn't thought about that. If snow blocked my exhaust pipe while the engine was running, the carbon monoxide could back up into the car. I'd read about people dying that way. "The bathroom building has heat," he yelled. "Come on!" I looked at him, then at the building. It was maybe 40 feet away, but in this snow, it might as well have been a mile. But he was right. I couldn't stay in my car if there was a risk of carbon monoxide. I grabbed my phone, my keys, and my bag and got out. The cold hit me like a punch. We ran to the building. Well, more like stumbled through knee-deep snow, and he held the door open for me. Inside it was warmer. Not warm, but better than outside. There was a small maintenance room with a space heater running. The guy must have turned it on. "I'm Derek," he said, pulling off his hat. "Been here about 2 hours. That's my car out there." "Thanks for the warning," I said. "I'm Emma." "No problem. This storm wasn't supposed to hit until tonight, right?" "That's what my app said." We sat in this little maintenance room. It had a bench, some tools, a sink. The space heater was one of those old oil-filled ones, and it was doing its best. Derek seemed normal enough. He told me he was a sales rep, been driving from Nebraska to Colorado, got caught in the storm. His phone was dead. Mine still had battery, but no service. "How long do you think we'll be here?" I asked. "A few hours, maybe. Plows will come through eventually." Except they didn't. We waited an hour, then 2. The storm wasn't letting up. Through the bathroom building's small window, I could barely see our cars anymore, just white. That's when Derek started acting weird. He kept standing up and looking out the window, then sitting back down, fidgeting with his hands, not saying anything. "You okay?" I asked. "Yeah, just... I don't like being trapped." I got that. I didn't like it either, but something in the way he said it made me uncomfortable. Another hour passed. It was getting dark outside, which made the storm even more disorienting. Derek stood up again and checked the window. "We should go back to the cars," he said suddenly. "What? You said carbon monoxide.
I know what I said, but we need to go back. Why?
He turned to look at me and his expression was different, harder. Because I need you to move your car. What are you talking about? Your car is blocking mine. I need to leave. I stared at him. No, it's not. Your car was there when I got here. You're on the other side of the lot. You're blocking me, he repeated. His voice was flat now, not angry, just flat. Derek, that doesn't make sense. He took a step toward me. I need to leave, right now, and you're in my way. I stood up, putting the bench between us. My heart was pounding. I'm not moving my car in this storm, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. It's not safe. Then give me your keys. What? No. Give me your fucking keys. His whole demeanor had changed. The friendly, helpful guy was gone. This was someone else. I grabbed my bag and backed toward the door. I'm going back to my car. You do that and you'll die out there, he said. Not like a threat, like a fact. I'll take my chances. I pushed through the door into the blizzard. The wind nearly knocked me over. I couldn't see my car, couldn't see anything. But I ran in what I thought was the right direction, stumbling through snow that was now up to my thighs. I found my car by basically running into it. Yanked the door open, got in, locked it. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely get the key in the ignition. I started the engine and turned on my headlights. Through the snow, I could see Derek standing in the doorway of the bathroom building. Just standing there, watching me. I put the car in reverse and started backing up, not caring where I was going, just knowing I needed to get away from there. My car fishtailed, but I kept going until I was back on what I thought was the road. I drove maybe 2 miles in that blizzard, going maybe 10 miles an hour, until I saw lights. A gas station. I pulled in and ran inside. The guy behind the counter took one look at me and said, "Jesus, you okay?" I told him what happened. He let me call the police from the store phone. The landline was still working. The cops came about 40 minutes later, once the storm had calmed down a bit. They went to check the rest area. Derek's car was there, but Derek wasn't. They searched the building, the area around it, found nothing. No footprints leading away. The snow would have covered them anyway. But here's what fucked me up. When they ran his plates, the car had been reported abandoned 3 weeks earlier. In Nebraska. The owner said he'd left it at a rest stop during a different storm and planned to come back for it, but never did. The cops asked me to describe Derek. I did. They looked at each other. Turns out a guy matching that description had been found dead in his car at a rest stop in Nebraska during that storm 3 weeks ago. Carbon monoxide poisoning. I don't know who I was talking to in that maintenance room. I don't know who knocked on my window. But I know this. I will never, ever pull off at a rest stop during a snowstorm again. I'd rather risk the ditch. I grew up in northern Minnesota, so I'm used to snow, like real snow. Not a few inches, feet. Blizzards that last for days. It's just part of life up there. This story is from when I was 19, home from college for winter break. It was December 2021. Me and my buddy Tyler decided to go ice fishing on this lake about 30 miles from town. We'd been planning it for weeks. We left early Saturday morning, like 6 a.m. The weather was supposed to be fine. Cold, but no snow. We had Tyler's truck, all our gear, a portable heater for the ice shanty. We were set. The fishing was okay, nothing amazing. By 2 p.m. we'd caught maybe 4 decent walleye and decided to pack it up. That's when Tyler checked his phone. Dude, there's a storm warning." "What?" Since when? Like an hour ago. Says we're supposed to get hit with a major system. They're saying 12 to 18 inches by tonight. I looked up. The sky was getting dark, and not just because it was late afternoon. There were these heavy gray clouds moving in fast. We should leave. Now, I said. We packed up in record time and headed back to the truck, but by the time we got to the main road, it had already started snowing. Hard. Tyler's truck was good in snow, but this was coming down so fast the plows couldn't keep up. Within 30 minutes, the road was nearly invisible. We were going maybe 20 miles an hour, and even that felt dangerous. Maybe we should find somewhere to wait it out, Tyler said. Where? There's nothing out here. He was right. This was basically the middle of nowhere, just forest and the occasional house set way back from the road. That's when we saw it. A driveway, barely visible, with a mailbox. And at the end of the driveway, through the snow, we could make out a house. Lights were on in the windows. Should we ask if we can wait there? Tyler asked. I didn't love the idea of bothering random people, but we didn't have a lot of options. My phone had service, but was down to 12%. Tyler's was already dead. We pulled into the driveway and parked. The house was old, probably from the 1950s, but it looked maintained. Smoke was coming from the chimney. Someone was definitely home. We knocked on the front door. Waited. Nothing. Tyler knocked again, harder this time. Hello? We're stuck in the storm. Can we please wait inside? Still nothing.
Maybe they can't hear us over the wind, I said.
Tyler tried the door handle. It was unlocked. He looked at me. We can't just go in, I said.
Dude, it's an emergency. We'll explain when they come out. We're not stealing anything.
He pushed the door open and we went inside. The house was warm, really warm. The heat was cranked up and there was a fire going in the living room fireplace. But something was off. The house was furnished, couch, TV, coffee table, but it felt staged, like a model home. There was a cup of coffee on the coffee table, still steaming. A book lay open on the arm of the couch. The TV was on, playing some old Western movie with the sound off. Hello? Tyler called out. Anyone home? We walked through the living room into the kitchen. There was food on the counter, a half-made sandwich, a jar of peanut butter with the lid off, a knife with peanut butter still on it, like someone had just put it down and walked away. This is weird, I said.
Maybe they're in the bathroom or something. We'll wait in the living room.
But here's the thing. We waited, and nobody came. We sat on that couch for 20 minutes, and nobody appeared. The house was silent except for the wind outside and the crackling fire. Should we check upstairs? Tyler asked. No, I said immediately. No, we wait here. We don't go snooping through someone's house. I'm just saying, what if they fell or something? What if they need help? I didn't want to, but he had a point. We went upstairs. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, all empty. The beds were made. There was a closet full of clothes, toiletries in the bathroom, but no people. Okay, this is officially creepy, Tyler said. We went back downstairs. That's when we noticed the pictures on the mantel above the fireplace. Family photos. A couple in their 50s, 2 younger people, maybe their kids. Except in every photo, the faces were blurred. Not like bad camera work, deliberately blurred. Like someone had taken a photo editing tool and erased the faces. What the fuck? Tyler said. I picked up one of the frames. The blur was just on the faces. Everything else, the background, their clothes, their hands, was perfectly clear. We need to leave, I said. The storm, I don't care. We need to leave right now. That's when we heard the front door open. We both froze. Footsteps in the entryway. Slow, deliberate. "Hello?" a voice called out. Male, older. "Is someone in my house?" Tyler and I looked at each other. His face was white. "We're sorry," Tyler called back. "We got stuck in the storm. The door was unlocked." The footsteps stopped. Silence. Then, "Did you touch anything?" Something in his voice made my skin crawl. It wasn't angry. It was too calm, too controlled. "No," Tyler lied. "We just came in to get out of the cold. We'll leave." "Did you go upstairs?" Neither of us answered. "I asked if you went upstairs." "We were looking to see if anyone needed help," I said. "The house was empty. We didn't touch anything." More silence. Then footsteps again, coming toward the living room. I don't know what made us do it, but Tyler and I both moved at the same time. We ran through the kitchen to the back door, yanked it open, and ran out into the blizzard. We got to Tyler's truck and jumped in. He started it and backed out of that driveway faster than I've ever seen anyone drive in a blizzard. "What the f*** was that?" Tyler was shaking. "Why did we run?" "Did you see him?" I asked. "No, did you?" "No, but I didn't want to." We drove in silence for about 10 minutes until we got to a part of the highway where the plows had been through. The storm was still bad, but it was manageable. We made it home around 9 p.m. Didn't talk about what happened. I think we were both too freaked out. A week later, I was looking at a map of the area where we'd been fishing, trying to remember exactly where we'd gone. I found the road we'd taken back. I zoomed in on satellite view looking for that house. It wasn't there. I mean, the driveway was there, but where the house should have been, there was just an empty lot. Trees. No house. I called Tyler. "Are you sure we turned off at mile marker 47? "Yeah, why?" "There's no house there. On the satellite view, just trees." Silence on the other end. Then, "Dude, I don't want to talk about this." "Tyler, I said I don't want to talk about it." He hung up. I did some digging online, found an old news article from 1989. A house fire on that road. Family of 4 died. The article said the house burned completely to the ground and was never rebuilt. The family in the photo matched the era of the people in those blurred pictures on the mantle. I don't know what house we were in that day. I don't know who opened that front door, but I know this. We touched things in that house. We went upstairs. We went places we weren't supposed to go. And sometimes, late at night, I think I hear footsteps. Slow, deliberate, like someone is checking to see if I'm still here. Tyler won't talk to me about it anymore. He moved to Arizona last year, said he was sick of the cold. I don't blame him. I deliver packages for FedEx. Have been for about 5 years. I'm used to driving in bad weather, rain, sleet, whatever. You just slow down and you're fine. This was different. February 2023. I was covering a rural route north of Spokane. Big loop, probably 50 stops, mostly farmhouses and rural properties spread out over about 100 square miles. The weather report said light snow. No big deal. Except it wasn't light snow. By 1 p.m., it was a full-on blizzard, whiteout conditions. I called my supervisor. "Can I head back? I can barely see the road." "How many stops you got left?" "Like 30. Push through what you can, then head back if it gets worse." It was already worse, but whatever. I kept driving. The next stop was this house about 5 miles off the main highway. Long driveway, totally isolated. I almost missed the turn, couldn't see the mailbox through the snow. I pulled up to the house and grabbed the package. It was for a Janet Morrison. I went up to the porch and knocked. No answer. I waited, knocked again. Nothing. I was about to just leave it on the porch when I heard something. A voice, faint, coming from around the side of the house. Hello? I walked around to the side. There was a woman standing there, maybe in her 70s, wearing just a sweater and jeans, no coat, no hat. Her hair was covered in snow. Ma'am, are you okay? She looked at me like she didn't understand the question. I'm locked out, she said. Can you help me? You're locked out of your house? I looked at her, then at the house. Something felt wrong. Where's your coat? You're going to freeze out here. I just stepped out for a minute, please. Can you help me get back in? I didn't know what to do. I'm not supposed to leave my route to help customers with personal problems, but this was clearly an emergency. This woman was going to get hypothermia. Do you have a spare key somewhere? I asked. In the back, under the mat. I followed her around to the back door. She was walking slowly, not like someone who was cold, more like she was in a trance or something. We got to the back door. There was no mat, just snow. Man, there's no mat here. She looked down. It must have blown away. Can you break the window? What? No, I can't. Please. I'm so cold. I looked at her. She was shivering now, but something about her face was wrong. Her lips weren't blue. Her skin wasn't red from the cold. She looked pale. Too pale. Ma'am, I think I should call someone. Do you have family nearby? There's no time. Please, just break the window. I really can't do that, but I can call 911. No! Her voice was sharp, angry. Then it softened. No, please. Just help me. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to leave, to get back in my truck and drive away. I'm going to call for help, I said, backing away from her. You can't leave me here, she said. She took a step toward me. You can't leave me out here alone. I turned and walked back toward my truck, fast. She followed me. Please, you can't leave, please! I got to my truck and climbed in. She was at my window now, pounding on the glass. Don't leave me here, please! I'll die out here! I started the engine and put it in reverse. She stepped back, and I could see her clearly now through the windshield. She was crying. Or maybe not crying. Her eyes were wet, but her expression was wrong. Empty. I backed out of the driveway as fast as I could without spinning out. In my rearview mirror, I could see her standing there in the driveway, just watching me leave. I got about a mile down the road before I stopped. I felt like shit. What if she really was locked out? What if she died because I didn't help her? I called 911. I need someone to check on an elderly woman. She's locked out of her house in this storm. Address is... I looked at the package slip, gave them the address. Hold on, the dispatcher said. I could hear typing. Sir, can you repeat that address? I did. Sir, that property has been vacant for 6 years. There's no one living there. What? No, I just saw a woman there. She was locked out. According to our records, the property owner died in 2017. House has been empty since. Are you sure you have the right address? I looked at the package. Janet Morrison. That address. This is the address I was supposed to deliver to. More typing. Sir, we show that delivery address was closed in our system in 2017. You shouldn't have a package for that location. I looked at the package in my passenger seat, looked at the label again. It was there. Janet Morrison. That address. I'm looking at the package right now, I said. What's the tracking number? I read it to her. Silence on the other end. Sir, that tracking number doesn't exist in our system. My hands started shaking. What do you mean it doesn't exist? The number you gave me isn't a valid FedEx tracking number. Are you sure you're reading it correctly? I hung up, looked at the package again. The tracking number was there, printed clearly on the label. But now that I looked closer, the label was wrong. The font was slightly off. The FedEx logo was blurry. I opened my delivery app to confirm the stop. The address showed up in my route, but when I clicked on it, the app crashed. I restarted it. The address was gone, like it had never been there. I drove back to the station, didn't finish my route, told my supervisor I felt sick. He was pissed, but let me go home. I still had the package in my truck. I didn't know what to do with it, so I just left it there overnight. The next morning, it was gone. I searched my whole truck. Not there. No sign it had ever existed. I did some research. Janet Morrison had lived at that address. She died in December 2017, froze to death outside her house during a blizzard. She'd locked herself out and couldn't get back in. They found her 3 days later when a neighbor drove by. I don't know who I saw that day. I don't know where that package came from. But I know this. I quit FedEx 2 weeks later. I work in a warehouse now. I don't drive routes anymore. And whenever it snows, really snows, I stay inside. Because I keep thinking about the way she looked at me, the way her eyes were empty. I keep thinking, what if I had broken that window? What if I had gone inside? I don't think I would have come back out.